All right, all right, all right. Let's get this potty started. I got to get rid of my picture here. Hey, everybody, it's Coach Lois. We are getting started in like 30 seconds. I'm going to bring in my good friend Ike. I see you are here. If you guys are joining us, please go ahead and comment below. You know the drill by now. It's Wednesday. 5-day challenge. You guys are just halfway through, and I brought my friend Ike, who you hopefully all know by now. Let's make this a little bit bigger. How you doing, Ike?
I'm doing really well, Lois. How you doing?
I'm good, although my headset's not working. Can you still hear me?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. Cool. So I don't need those headphones. So we're
Eh,
going to dive right in. And I just want a gentle reminder for everyone, because I know some of you guys are specifically here because you are hoping to be one of the winners of the $2,000 in coaching giveaway that I am giving to two people that turn in all the homework. They show up to all of these lives, comment below, ask questions, and then, of course, send to me that secret URL so that you guys can be a part of really taking action, massive action, and doing the things over the course of these 5 days to get the results that you want. And specifically, we have Ike here today, who he's day 3. If you guys, hopefully, if you haven't consumed that information, spoiler alert, he is your guest, and he's a LinkedIn guru. Some of you guys know him because he's was on my podcast last month, and some of you guys have attended his master class, which we'll also talk about. That's coming up next week. And so, Ike, do you want to quickly introduce yourself while I welcome our guests here today?
Hey, Ike Ikoku, business strategist, coach, 7-figure mentor, all-around good guy. What else can I say? Right?
You might know Todd. He's giving you a shout out.
What's up, Toddster?
I love it. And Ike's one of my greatest JV partners, affiliate partners. Just super grateful. See, Janet is here. We have Barrett from Maryland. We got people from all different time zones. Want to give out to Sean. Yes, this is live. So if you want to comment below, #live, and tell us where you're tuning in from. That's always fun because I'd love to see who's still awake. Monday we had someone from India, and it's like 12:30 in the morning there.
Wow.
So super grateful. We already have questions streaming in. So I just want to remind you guys, this is the live coaching during the 5-day challenge to answer your questions. And since Ike was on day 3, that is why he's here. So we already have a question. Ike, I'm going to actually let you answer this because I think you're the LinkedIn guru. I just found LinkedIn really 6 months ago and have fallen in love with it. So this question is, and I'm sorry, I can't see your name. Facebook sometimes does that with StreamYard, but do you accept all of the connection requests you get on LinkedIn?
That's a really good question. In my early days, I used to. As I've gotten a little wiser, I can kind of discern the motive behind people's connection requests. And if I feel like it's unauthentic, not authentic, not genuine, then I'll generally just pass. The other thing to kind of keep in mind is the algorithm can work for you, it can work against you. No shame, no guilt, no issues with people in foreign countries. But if you don't intend on doing business in Sri Lanka and you start getting a lot of connection requests from people in that country, what LinkedIn says is, hey, Lois, you seem to like people from Sri Lanka. Let me send you a bunch more of these people. You may see people who reach out to connect and go, hey, LinkedIn suggested that I connect with you. That's part of the algo, reading your activity on LinkedIn to go, let me send her or him more of these kinds of people. So that's been the maturity of how I play the connection request game that I get now.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. And I'm with you. Like I really own, and this is what I do. And I know you had some really great scripts at the end of your call today, the 3-day day 3 call. I mean, about, I don't really even accept them unless there's a message, an authentic message.
Yeah.
And we'll check out their profile first. And there are times where, if they don't send me a message, I'll still check out their profile and I just go with my gut. I just go with my intuition, and I'll usually message them and say, hey, how did you find me? Things like that.
Yep. Here's another real quick tip. At one point, I detest people sending a blank connection request. I know if you're on your mobile, that can happen, but we live in a world where people have very little attention span. I mean, it's been said we have a less attention span on that of a goldfish, and that's like 9 seconds, right? So, you know, you got to be able to captivate people's attention. So the worst thing you can do is send a blank connection request, because now I have to go do the work to try to figure out who the heck are you and why you're interested in connecting with me. So a while back, I used to just reject blank connection requests because I'm like, I don't have the time or the energy. Now what I do is part of what I teach my clients to do is flip the script on them. Take the time to do some research and actually figure out who they are. And based on what you find, accept the connection request, send a very relevant message about who they are, what they do, how that resonates in your world, how you think you can add value to them, and ask them if they're open to having a conversation. Mm-hmm. It'll work wonders in your ability to have leads and opportunities to share what it is you do with somebody else who may be interested in your services. If nothing else, you build the opportunity to get to know what each other does and set up potential referral opportunities for one another.
You made me think of another question, and I'm going to dive into the other questions out here. We got some really good ones coming in. When you connect with someone on LinkedIn, I mean, there's only so many hours in the day, right? I know in our masterclass next Tuesday, we're going to be talking about how to take 12 weeks off a year. So if you're working on being authentic on LinkedIn, you're getting these connection requests, and you're sending your own, which I talked about on day one. Yeah. Hopefully everybody here has consumed that content as well. But how do you know, and how much time do you give, and how do you know when you should meet with someone? Because you can't meet with everyone, right?
Yeah, I have a slightly different opinion about that. When you start playing the LinkedIn game, what you're going to find is there are a lot of people who simply just barf on you, right? As soon as they connect, or even in their connection message, they're already pitching you to try to get you to buy goods and services from them. That's the absolute wrong way to try to consummate business. Lois, you and I both ascribe to the permission-based philosophy of marketing, and you have to have permission to be able to engage in that level of conversation where you're in a position to solve somebody's problem. And so what I believe is most people don't know how to communicate what it is that they do in a way that it's heart to heart, in a way that it causes people's spirit to come alive, because you've tapped into the very reason why you exist, why you're here on planet Earth. And like a trumpet, you're ready to share that with any and everybody. And so I'm a big believer that you should take as many calls as you can, because when you do the heavy lifting work that I teach my clients to do, you could have, I mean, think about when was the last time you showed up on Facebook not planning or intending on buying anything, and you ran across an ad and you're like grabbing a MasterCard to try to purchase something. The same can happen when you resonate with why you're here and you communicate in a way that spurs people to buy into your why, the very reason you exist, and everything else that comes with that. You will have people literally pulling out credit cards in initial conversations and going, how can I get more of that? So I look at it slightly differently, because when you approach from a relational perspective, really being very curious about other people, and you're genuinely interested in them, not looking to pitch them anything, genuinely interested in finding opportunities where you can serve them or help them, inevitably, in some point, the question's going to come up, well, Lois, what do you do? And like, you should hear trumpets blasting. You should hear like the lights coming on, like, Lois, take the stage and knock this out, right? Most people don't know how to answer that question. So part of what we do in our program is teach you how to get in a way that really resonates at the heart level. The people that you're called to serve causes them to go, oh, lights out. You're the guy, the girl I've been looking for all my life. How can we work together, right?
Awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. We just want to say a quick hello to Eli all the way from the Netherlands. Super excited.
What's up? You got an international audience today, Lois. That's very exciting.
Oh yeah. We have a huge mission to impact the globe when it comes to lead generation and authentic permission-based conversations, right? So we have a 9th grader. What tips do you have for 9th grade? I'm going into the 9th grade soon, so I don't even know. On LinkedIn, do you have to be 18, or do you? I don't don't know if it.
That's a good question. What I have found, I saw some content on this. I think LinkedIn is strategically trying to get the younger generation on, because a lot of them are very high on Instagram. And so I think as a ninth grader, one of the things you should be doing is positioning yourself what your next major leap in your life is going to be, typically college, right? So you want to position yourself in a way that gets you to stand out. You want to start reaching out to contacts that can influence the decision process that you have to make as it relates to making that next transition. And again, just make sure your profile is built right. We live in a digital age where any and everything you say can and will be used against you. So make sure on a business, professional, social networking space like LinkedIn, you're always putting your best foot forward. So that would be my advice to them.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why I actually like LinkedIn better these days, just because it is it's so professional and still very authentic. And anyway, I won't digress too much there because we have some really good questions. Sean said he has many connections that he hasn't had real communication with, sometimes years, in fact. What's a good way to restart with them?
Yeah, so one really good way is if their birthday comes around and they do like most people do, they just hit the auto, send Sean a, birthday request. One thing you can do is respond to those birthday greetings and go, hey, John, Jane, whomever it is, I see that you sent me a birthday request, but let's be honest here. That took absolutely no effort whatsoever, right? You just hit the click button and an automatically generated response was sent. So how about we do what we're originally supposed to be doing? How about we build a connection? I took a peek at your profile. I saw you do X, Y, and Z. Based on what you do, I think we could have some really exciting conversations. Are you open to having a conversation? And that's it. That's one way to reignite those stale connections, because we all have them. And we may have 2, 3, 4, tens of thousands of people, and we've not had tens of thousands of conversations with our connections.
Oh yeah, there's so much time in the day. That's one of the questions, but I'm keeping on going in order. So again, if you're just joining us, guys, feel free to comment below #live. Again, if you're participating in the $2,000 giveaway from me, you've got to be able to comment below and ideally ask a question, because then that also just helps everyone learn from one another. If you can ask a question, that'd be great. So Elizabeth says she's not sure about even finding her tribe. Leads have been easier, networking people have been easier, but how does she go about finding clients? She's a mystic guide and healing jewelry designer, which I am wearing one of her healing jewelry designs right now. She feels like she would not fit the typical mold for farming clients on LinkedIn. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I have to ask Elizabeth, are you passionate about what you do? If you are, LinkedIn is the absolute best place to find your tribe and to massively attract your clients. What a lot of people don't recognize is the signature sauce that they need to be utilizing on LinkedIn, which is one, make sure that when I show up on your LinkedIn profile, it looks very inviting. It looks like you've positioned yourself as an authority in the industry, in the niche, in the space that you are in. If you've already served clients, make sure you have them provide recommendations to validate what it is that you do. Make sure your profile doesn't look like a resume, but instead it looks like a client attraction magnet, where everything from the billboard that you have on LinkedIn, which is your background, to your signature headline, which is your opportunity to give them a 10 to 30-second elevator pitch about what's in it for them, to actually take time out of their busy schedule to view your profile. You're one of 700 million plus people on there. If I'm on your profile, it's a privilege. So you better have that profile built out in a way that makes me make micro decisions. Yes, I love her headline. Yes, I love her banner. Yes, I love her short description. Yes, I love her business and what she's doing. Yes, I love her content. And as they start consuming more of your content, which you have to create. Again, that's why I started with, are you passionate about what it is that you do? Are you doing exactly what you were created to do? Because if you are, the opportunity to do what I call personalized celebritizing which is where you just use your mouth or your content to tell the world all about what you do, what's unique, weave in your backstory, all of the different elements that attract people to your signature hero journey, why you're doing what you're doing, how it impacts the lives of people. And then all of a sudden, you're getting predisposed buyers. They don't know you from Adam, but because you've done the heavy lifting on the front end, they reach out to you saying, I've already identified that you're an expert in this space and I want to have a conversation because I feel like you can help me.
Awesome. She's passionate about it. So I knew that, obviously. I love it. I just sent Elizabeth another necklace of mine to fix. So thank you, Elizabeth, for that fantastic question. I have a great question. This is for those side hustlers out there, those, part-time, plan B. What do you recommend for those who have a full 9 to 5 job and that takes most of their day, their waking hours, and they still want to have a life? How can they time block and work smart on LinkedIn versus time suck?
Yeah, so really, really brilliant question. If you're going to do it yourself, block out 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at lunch, and 30 minutes in the evening. Those are high peak hours. So from that roughly 8 to 9:30 a.m., a lot of usage on LinkedIn. Right around that 11:30 to maybe 1 p.m., Eastern time zones I'm using here, that's when there's a lot of activity. And then after hours. So be strategic about your use of LinkedIn. And if you have the financial resources, once you've built out a system for what it is you want to communicate, who you want to reach out to, the frequency with which you want to do that, for $5, $6, $7, $8 an hour, for pennies on the dollar, you can actually outsource that entire activity to a VA and have them do that on your behalf. And then all you're doing is screening and qualifying and deciding which calls or appointments you're going to take for whatever that side hustle is that you're trying to promote on LinkedIn.
Awesome. That was awesome. I love that. So Barrett has a question. Once you've reached out to someone, whether it be a greeting message or a bait post, and they respond, how long do you wait to invite them to talk? Should you do it right after that? Or, as he says, stroke them a little more and ask more about them and their business first? I know I would say talk to them, more form. It's a technique that I teach inside the class, family, occupation, recreation, mission or message, and find more about their why and their pain points. But I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm a big believer that nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So Lois's form methodology feeds very well into that. I'm also a big believer that you got to strike while the iron is hot. So if they've expressed some level of interest, that's the time. If you haven't already started stalking them legally, that's the time when you should be stalking them legally. So go back to their profile, look at them on Facebook, see wherever else that they're showing up. Find out what's relevant and important to their world. Figure out what you can do to make yourself very attractive to them in the conversations that you'll have, which will ultimately lead to what you want to do, which is get them on a call and incorporate that in that initial vibe and conversation, and then use basic sales techniques and try to identify pain points, have them cough that up in a very natural way, and then eventually schedule a time to say, hey, listen, the last time we spoke, you expressed X, Y, and Z. I think I might have some resources to share with you that can help you with that. Are you free Tuesday or Thursday at 10 a.m. for us to chat about it? Boom, you're done.
Awesome. Love it. Just want to give acknowledgement to people who joined us. Carolyn from Miami. We got Sandy from Texas. And if I missed you, charge it to my head, not my heart, because I love you all. And just trying to find the questions in here. I love this. I apologize again, I don't see your name, but I talked about farming versus hunting. You got to think like a hunter when you're finding new connections, but you're still, working like a farmer, tilling the soil like Jim Rohn, right? He's grew up on a farm in Idaho. I grew up on a farm in Iowa. So I totally resonated with sowing the seeds and planting and watering and watching them go, but then also testing and course correcting, not worrying about saying the perfect thing. I'm not a huge fan of scripts. I don't know about you, Ike. It's more about just asking the right questions, don't you think?
Yeah, I think we build a false sense of security when we start relying on scripts and we get completely out of our zone of brilliance and genius because we're thinking more about the script as opposed to being present in the conversation and letting the conversation dictate where it goes. You should have a general idea as to what your goal and mission is with that initial or second conversation, but you also want to be very sensitive to making sure you're staying on that individual's agenda while also recognizing what your agenda is, and let nature take its course. Right?
Awesome. This is kind of a follow-up question to that. And I think this is Jeannie Chow. I'm multitasking here, but I think this is Jeannie. When is it that you ask people to book a call with them?
Yeah, so if you follow my relational marketing approach, it's early on in the process, right? If you follow through the steps that we talk about, you complement, you find things that resonate between you and them. And in the simple script that I used for the gentleman who asked earlier on, I think it was Sean, about reactivating old connections. They send you a birthday greeting, or you just look at their profile, you go, hey, John, listen, we've been connected now for a year and a half, because you looked at their profile, you realize it's been a year and a half. And I just happened to stumble back on your profile again, and I noticed XYZ. Could be something personal, could be a post that they shared, could be something they shared on another different platform, but find something that's relevant, that speaks to their heart, something that they're passionate about, that you know that they would be willing to stop whatever they're doing to have a conversation. Infuse that into that, figure out a way that it ties into what you do, and then build the bridge to go, hey, would love to have more conversation about said topic, right? Get them on a call, and then be yourself. Right? Just share what it is you do your magic on that initial call, and everything else will take its natural course.
Yeah, and Sean has a statement. He says, perhaps I'm just a little jaded, because he's a sales coach, and so he sees behind the curtain. So he has a mental block that all the people who reach out to know that eventually I'm going to be presenting an opportunity. Well, and Sean, I would just say, I'm going to say something, and then like for me, and this is my old school, showing. I mean, I would always meet someone at the beach, the bar, the bank, church, or wherever, and it's all still about connecting with the heart first.
Yeah.
And of course, I was always thinking, how could I maybe, I'm not going to lie here, I'm going to be transparent. I was a realtor, I was in network marketing, I was in health and fitness. Call me greedy. I want to help save the world, right? So I'm like thinking, how can I get this person into my database, and this list of relationships, right? This gold mine. I wanted to be a resource for everyone. And so it wasn't about selling and closing the deal. So I don't know, I would encourage you, planting that seed, since I know you, Sean, personally, that it's really about knowing your value and knowing that you are a good-hearted person, whereas there might be, someone over there licking his chops, greedy, sleazy, sales guy that might swoop in and close the deal. If you don't go out there and talk to these people, that's my passion about that. What do you think, Ike?
Totally with you 100. And I think your approach to getting them on a call is going to go a long way in helping diffuse. And because I get it all the time, I have people who actually will reject a connection request because they think I'm ready to pitch them, who will accept it, and I'll approach them in a way, and I go, hey, listen. So what a lot of times what I do with some of the messaging that I use is, listen, there are a bunch of people on here who are looking to pitch you and do this or do that. Understand, this is not one of those messages. I mean, I sent messages to people during COVID just to check on them, just to say, hey, we're having some difficult times. How are you? How are your family doing? Just a conversation, right? So your approach and the genuineness within which you value people, I teach this to my clients. The biggest value to you from any type of sales or marketing activity isn't necessarily going to be from me converting Lois to a client. It may be from Lois having me on her stage. It may be from Lois choosing to collaborate with me. And so I tell people all the time, you're missing the boat if you see everybody as an opportunity to close a sale. It's who do they know? Who can they introduce you to? Who do they already have influence over? Where if you make an intentional decision to build a relationship with them first, that relationship will yield fruit way beyond whatever they might have paid as a consumer of said product and service. So once you have that as sort of a overall philosophy with how you value people, and you see, the impact that you can have to their lives as well as they could have to you, I mean, you just don't treat people as a commodity, right? You're in it to try to figure out, is there an opportunity? They could add value to you, right? You've got to be open to that, So that's just my general approach.
And I want to add to that, and I know maybe it seems a little misleading, but I call this the 5-day lead gen challenge. And to me, it was really about relationship building challenge.
Yeah.
If I would have called it relationship building challenge,
Interested, right?
you signed up.
Yeah.
Not sexy, not exciting, but that's what sales is. And I just did a post inside of the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise Facebook group, and I got over $9,000 and counting this week in referral fee income by referring people to other product services, other coaches. Like, I'm not greedy. I build relationships with a lot of you guys out there who are coaches, because I'm like, I have my lane, you have your lane, and we might be going at different speeds at different times, but there may be a time where I'll be like, hey, you know what? I don't think I can serve you. I'm going to refer you to Ike. Or, hey, I don't think I can serve you to what you need today. I'm going to refer you to Barrett or to Sean or to whomever. And so it's more about relationships and being seen as the gatekeeper, the resource, the ally, the trusted friend, who, I think John Maxwell always says that, hi guys, my name is John and I'm your friend, or something like that. Yeah. Whenever he would talk, since I know you're John Maxwell trainee and master. And so just remember that, guys. I really want you to develop that muscle of, how can I give first and be seen as a resource, a gatekeeper. It can also get you some referral affiliate income if you get into that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to let you guys know that that's really what this is about, is taking the fear out of selling. Be fearless, be a giver, be a resource, love on people, and they will come back to you, and they'll either give you referrals. They'll always keep in the back of their mind, and maybe, just maybe, they'll become your client.
Well said. Well said.
And I think I would just really quickly reminder, guys, as we wrap it up here, I want you to talk about the masterclass, but I also want to just share with you guys my heart. If you've seen value in this program, it's not too late for people to still sign up. Please share this link. Some of you guys are affiliates for me, loiscofi.com/challenge. They could really sign up as late as Saturday and binge through the content, because I am going to take it down Monday night and sell the content on the back end. So if anybody has questions about that, I'm going to talk more about that on Friday, is the next live Q&A. It'll just be me. But you guys bring all your questions, and if you have more questions and want to have more of Ike in your life, like I always do, Ike, can you tell them more about your masterclass? Then I have one more announcement, and then we'll wrap it up.
Sure. It's the Solopreneur 7-Figure Blueprint Masterclass. If you're a solopreneur, a coach, a consultant, aspiring, existing, expert in some way, shape, or form, and you feel like there's so much more you could and should be doing in the world with what you've been called to do, then you should be here, because what we're going to show you is how to build a thriving practice in 2 years, turn your annual income from whatever you were doing before and make that a monthly income while enjoying 12 weeks off each and every year. Lois and I are both committed to the kind of lifestyles that we want to live while transforming other people's lives with what we're called to do. There is a blueprint, there is a way that's right, and there's a way that's wrong. And we're going to be peeling back those layers and showing you how you can build a phenomenal practice that honors and values your time while compensating you well for what you do.
Yes, and I'll be dropping that link in the chat, guys. I'm also going to be putting it inside of, so if people are like, where do I find this? I know there's so many places you can access this course, but did you know, oh, by the way, this link right here, and I know it's a lot of different hyphens and things, but I'll drop that in the chat too, but you can sign up for Ike's Masterclass there. You can join us on Tuesday for that. It's 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, but also this is the one-stop shop, guys. I'm not going to give you the password because there's a lot of people inside of this group that may not have signed up. If you are like, oh my gosh, I don't remember seeing that page, Lois, that's where you can see all of the 5-day challenge training, including Mike's video from day 2, including all of the PDFs, the downloads, as well as the PowerPoint slides from the YouTube presentation slide deck of the 5-day challenge. So you can grab that for free. And I'll drop that link down in the chat. We did have a couple more questions. Ike, do you have a couple more minutes, or do you have to run?
Definitely love to add more value if we can.
Cool. Awesome. So we're going a little over time, and that gives me the ability to drop the links in the chat while you're answering these. So I love this question. And again, I'm sorry, I don't see who this is, but after the relationship is built, how do we keep them from wanting all free resources instead of at some point closing the deal?
Yeah. So I think you need to manage expectations well, both on your end as well as their end. And you need to really have some just some discernment, right? Because we can kind of pick up on people who are freeloaders, who are just there to suck the living life out of you and have no intention of really taking that relationship. And so, in a loving and gentle way, if you do have free resources, which most people should, if they're building a really, serious business, point them to those resources, value your time, make the deposits of value that you need to end the relationship, and then move on. Right?
Awesome. I love it. I love it. And I'm sorry, that was Tiny. So sorry I didn't I got you. And I think Tiny had another question. Oh, way back. But how often should I go on my social media platforms to connect with the people who follow me? How often should I go on? And I don't know if she means Facebook, like fan page. I don't know if you can speak to that as well, Ike, or if you're not really into the Facebook stuff.
Yeah, I don't do much on the Facebook fan page stuff. Where I strike is on the LinkedIn side. And so I say you should have a daily commitment. Start off with 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunch, 10 minutes in the evening. And the most important thing with any methodology that you're using is to build consistency. And so even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, that's going to build a muscle that's going to pay dividends for years to come. And then as your circumstances change and you can upsize that and get to 10 to 20 to 30 minutes, or you can outsource some of that activity, certainly do that.
Awesome. And I will also let you guys know, Ike and I, the masterclass is also on LinkedIn as an event. So I'm going to drop that link in the comments. And I feel like there was one more question. This is a similar repeat to Sean's, but maybe if you think of anything else that you didn't cover, what's the best way to re-engage a multitude? So it's a little bit different of connections. Mm-hmm. If maybe you haven't posted for 6 months, maybe you've been kind of silent for whatever reason. Is there any other tips you have?
So if you're looking at volume there, I would say pay attention to current news, events that are happening that impact people, on a massive or global stage, and figure out a way that you can pull people together to just give them space. So oftentimes what I find in different groups and in different communities is just having an opportunity and a place that's safe to really have a conversation about what's going on. That in and of itself can be a valuable gift. So you see something that's trending in the news that affects a specific demographic of people that you serve, create a roundtable discussion around that, right? And send invites to people like, hey, Friday at 3 p.m., this and this is happening in the news. I know how this is impacting me. Come, I'd love to hear your feedback, your insights. But I'd like to share a few things about how I am dealing with that as well. Real simple.
Awesome. Great. Anyone else? Okay, here we go. And I hope I don't butcher your name. It's beautiful, by the way. Sambhavi Amatrine. Sambhavi says, we can build a sales team, sell a product, and sign ambassadors. That's her company model. What are some ways to dance into that conversation when the first offer isn't a good fit? So I'm assuming she's direct sales. So I'm not sure, but building a sales force, if they say no or if they don't have an interest, how do you stay in front of them?
Yeah, I think a lot of that goes back to the early work you do in really understanding your audience, understanding their pain points, understanding their fears, their frustrations, how that's evolving, understanding the competition, what they're offering, what they're not offering, understanding their false beliefs around what the real problem is, what the real issue is, what solutions they've tried versus what the real solution. Once you have all of that information, I think you're like armed and dangerous in terms of either creating connection messages, creating free lead magnets, or anything else that gives you a diverse stream of communication opportunities with that audience. So it's not one thing that I'd say, go do this. I would say go back to the table and make sure you know your ideal audience better than you know your spouse, because if you do, it's going to naturally ooze out of you the various ways that you can continue to engage in them beyond whatever that initial offer might have been.
Awesome. And she said I was close on her name pronunciation, but not maybe close enough. And she's a direct sales in solar. And just so you guys know, I did just drop the LinkedIn event to Ike in my masterclass, the Solopreneur 7-Figure Blueprint. So we got one more question, and then I'm going to wrap it up. What's the difference between LinkedIn, and this is Levante, who we both met, I believe, at the SAL. What's the difference between the LinkedIn Roundtable and the event? I don't know what that is. What's LinkedIn Roundtable?
Yeah, I think the question here is you can create an event on LinkedIn for anything you want to do. You could call it a focus group. You could call it a roundtable. You could call it a, whatever it is you want to call it. The distinction and the difference is how people actually interact with you. So unless you have like a LinkedIn Live account and you've got the ability to bring people on live on LinkedIn, chances are when they register for an event, they're basically just raising their hands and going, yes, I'm interested in that event. Now, where you host that event, whether it's on StreamYard, whether it's on Zoom or whatever other technological tool you're using, you want to make sure that all of those individuals who have raised their hand and said that they're interested know that at 2 p.m. on Thursday this week, the way to have their face in the place is to make sure they've clicked the StreamYard registration link or clicked your Zoom link to make sure that they show up and can engage in whatever it is that you're offering them.
Awesome. Anything else, Ike, before we wrap it up?
You had some really, really good, very inquisitive questions from your tribe. So that's been fun. I hope everybody got a ton of value with the time we spent here today.
Awesome. And again, guys, if you want to see Ike and me together on Tuesday, please join us. That link is in the chat, and then I will be adding it to the one-stop shop password protected landing page that has all of the training for the 5-day challenge. So again, I encourage you, if you've gone through it once, go through it a second time. You have till Monday night to access it. And then I'll just leave a little bit of a teaser for you guys. If you saw value in this program, what I'm going to be doing is creating a lead generation membership, VIP member, monthly, cancel at any time, month to month, for just $97 a month. I'm going to interview an expert on lead gen and different areas of lead generation. And then I'm going to have an hour of live lead generation with Lois every month. Plus, you'll get access to this lead generation training that you would be experiencing for free as long as you're a part of that membership. So if you want to learn more about that, reach out to me, or we'll talk more about it on Friday, or next Monday, I'll be announcing the winners of Winner Chicken Dinner of the $2,000 coaching giveaway. Please turn in your homework, guys. I do get all your emails. I don't reply to all of them. It's been a little overwhelming. I'm so excited to see all of you good students who are really diving in fully into this challenge and sucking the marrow from the bones, as I like to say, so you can have the best life as possible. Because as I shared before, 5 lead conversations a day keeps the creditors away, and we really care about you, your health, your wealth, and your wisdom. So we'll see you guys on Friday. Again, thanks, Ike. Until next time, guys, here's to your best health, your best wealth, and your best wisdom. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, guys.